The beast means that, I can be anything from a gorilla, a lion, or even as small as a little baby chicken, a little kitten, or even a small AB, which is what we call shrimp. So it's every animal and it's every animal and the display of its characteristics, its ability and its characteristics. That's how I define the beast. And of course, one of those is loud, which I have no problem in being.
And where did you come up with the idea to, create this persona that's marketable and interesting?
The beast, and that was taught to me from WCW when I worked in Atlanta, Georgia at the World Championship Wrestling. So they would give me classes on that. And, I just now have realized truly and appreciate truly how amazing that is because, I just made some really great friends recently and I lost them because of the fact that they are unable to understand my life versus someone else's life versus their own. My life is so totally different, So what I've done now to combat that, to help me in my life, I let what happens in my life, I let somebody know, like, I'm single. So like before I meet a girl or anything like that, I will tell them some basics that we'll go through. And then if I am told, well, that's nothing I liked, whatever, then at least I know, okay, they're not gonna really have an understanding of it. So I'll give you an example. Usually when you go out at night, when you go for your date, you'll go for a date and you'll take them out on like a dinner or around the town, and have fun and get to know each other. But, if you were to do that with me, depending on the time or the time of day, what location you're at, if I want to take a girl out, usually you want to take her out to some place where there's a lot of people, where they're having fun. You take them to a dance club, or you'll take them out to a restaurant, a dance club, walk around the park, take the dogs and walk them around, right? But if I do that, there's so many people taking pictures and autographs and wanting to talk and everything else like that. So there goes your communication of getting to know somebody. That's gone. And then when you take them to a nightclub, to whatever, and you want to start dancing with the person you came there with, yeah, you can squeeze in maybe one dance, because right in between, another girl's gonna come in, bump that out and want to go do that, okay? And then when the longer the date goes on, the more alcohol that's consumed, then the girls start acting a little silly. I've had them hide in my room naked. I've had them jump off of buildings to get my autograph. I've had them, literally I'm doing a commercial, which everybody can see, because you got cameras and stuff. I've had them run and knock the camera over, run over there just to get a hug, and oh man, it's gone so crazy. So, I always feel bad sometimes. I will never apologize for my blessing of being popular or famous. I will never apologize for it, but I do feel bad for, sometimes people that have do it, because I've been in this for so long. I was just in Latin America, and I was dancing, and the girl, and I had a girl, she was a fanatic, so she really loved me, and so it went from one picture to 20 pictures to 50 pictures, and then she started to sign my pants. I'd sign the pants. Then it was sign my stomach, sign my bra, sign my boob, pull down this, and I said, right when she got up to the stomach, I said, listen, that's got to be it right now, because, and she was like, well, why is that? Why is that? And I said, well, I think you're going to have a good time, and you're already having a nice time right here, so there's no need for anything else. I'll sign something else, but I'm not going to sign the stomach. Now, I'm no gay, okay? So it's not like I'm, here, Mr. Okay, no, but what I do know, I can handle some of the negativity that comes with that on Facebook or somebody talking bad about me. I can handle that stuff, okay? I've had many years, and they've got plenty of ammunition to go against me at, okay? So I can handle that. average person's unable to handle that, you know, and that's a really big deal, you know. So I say, you know, if you do that and that gets on Facebook and your friends see it and your mom sees it and stuff, then that's no longer going to be an enjoyable moment for you. So I do have to practice some restraint and stuff, and you know, so I've lived vicariously through my own products. So like when I meet, sometimes when I go to a city or something, like 4,000 women will show up screaming and doing that stuff. And, you know, Japan was really good how to combat that. You know what they did? Create Bob Sapp sex toys. So they handle that really quick.
Did they
so
do a good job?
So, but well, my trainer says, you know, that's really no him. That because he's hung like a light switch. You know, so I was like, man, you guys are nuts, man. You know, and so you got to have like some thick skin for this. You know, and everything has to be. You have to understand the emotional attachment that they have towards it. But the sad part is, like I said, I just recently lost some friends, and it was just, it's amazing, you know. I'll give you an example. I'll go to a restaurant, and the restaurant will say, can we have some pictures? Our staff loves you, we want all this and everything else. And now, what I say is I say, listen, this is your restaurant, and I love this place. That's why I'm here. I know you make great food. However, now you're asking me for photographs. I make money off of my face and who I am. That is my business. This is your business. This is your establishment. So if I'm going to give you money, if I'm going to give you a picture or an autograph from my business, and that's free of charge, I would like you to extend the free hospitality to me and allow me to eat free of charge. Now, there's no concern because I'm not going to order alcohol. I already know that that's the most expensive on the list, and nor do I drink, so it's not that big of a deal. Okay, I do, but it's like pina coladas and you know what they call silly drinks. So all I do is mix everything with Sprite, every juice, and I'm fine. So the friends that I was with that I recently met, they were like, why are you doing, that's so embarrassing and that's begging and all of this stuff. Nobody knows who you are here and all of this. And I'm like, okay, yeah, nobody knows who I am, but yet, you know, they're all asking for me for pictures and autographs. You know, I mean, obviously that was jealousy there. And what can I do besides say, Bob, this is a part of your life. It comes with your life. Your life's so different. They're not going to understand that. Of course they think you should be giving it away for free and all of that stuff. Meanwhile, whatever they do, they want money for, you know. So they have no idea of that. And they even went so far as to say, you know, you're a has-been. That's true. That's nothing negative. That's because from a person who's being called a has-been, I can tell you because I know many has-beens were classics. You see what I'm saying? That's the in antiques. That's what we are. Antiques and classics are highly valuable. And that's quite, I mean, that's like right in front of your face to know that, but yet they want to put themselves up to something, and it's so hard to measure up, okay? So if I go back to that story that I'm telling you at the nightclub, that the boyfriend asks, he came up to me and he goes, you know, Bob, man, please, please, look, she's really, really loves you big time. And she's, you know, she's asked you to sign her stomach, and now she's coming up and asked for your bra and everything. It's like, man, you know, please, can you don't steal my girl from me, man. You know, and I'm like, bro, I got you, man. I got you. But I got you. I understand. I got you. I said, so watch this. Watch how we gonna fix this. So he came over here and I said, man, you know what? You see this guy right here? I'm pretty freaking pissed off at this dude right here. You know, I grabbed him by his shirt. I said, you know why I'm mad at him? She's like, why? I said, because he gets you, and he's getting girls like you, and that's why I'm mad. He done took one of them off the market already, man. So you got one of the best guys right here. What's your secret? Tell me how you get a good girls like this. Tell me how you do that. Let's all have a drink, show you. You tell me how to do it. Now, of course, the bartender's giving me free drinks anyway. But, I give him the drinks, he sits down, and problem solved. And he was so happy. He came back, he said, that was the coolest thing that you ever did, that anyone's ever done. So that's how I handle that kind of stuff. It is hard to deal with fans and to have your life in the public, How many, so I ask a girl out on a date. Now, when the girl on the date is in the entertainment industry and she has a different mind, she's okay. Because you know what time I got to go out on a date? It's usually like at 2 o'clock to 3:30 in the morning. Because I'm working, and if they're in the entertainment industry, or if they're in a industry like maybe a doctor or something, they don't get off till 3 o'clock. You could be shooting and you're set. You're not going to get off till 2 o'clock. So.
Do you ever feel like frustrated or anxiety because of all your popularity? And do you ever feel like you would just like to be a regular Joe?
Yeah, I do. That happens to me a lot. And you know what? I stopped even. I can often remember at a later time that I'm Mr. Bob Sapp, celebrity kind of guy. So like I may be having a bad day. Or I can be feeling down, which is normal. Everybody feels down occasionally. That's just a normal in life, So, like when one of my animals passed away, I was sad and I'd feel down. I'd walk down the street and, after just crying for like 6 hours or whatever, you walk down the street and you know how hard it is to walk down the street and then everybody go, oh, what's up, dude? Oh, that's very hard. I had my dog and we were wrestling at the dog park, and then, only this happened to me being silly. So like, she got inside the car, and I was like, dog, what? You thought you won that wrestle? Come here. And I'm like doing like this, I put her in a headlock like this, and she's going like this. I'm going, and blowing into her ear, and she's laughing and stuff. Man, and I slipped the parking brake off. And it started going forward, and this little car that was there, and it was like, first it hit it, but then it like went doop, 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 doop. So it was no really driving over it, but the first tire pretty much went over the bumper and right across there. And it was late at night, and I was like, Bob, you know what? You can leave. And I was like, yeah. I could, but no need. And so I went out and found the guy, because we were just at the dog park, so the sun was coming down, easy to identify him. There was only like 5 people left. So I said, was this your car? He's like, yeah. He's like, dude, hold up. Wait a minute. You're like Bob Sapp. Oh my God, I cannot believe it. I've got to tell everybody. Bob Sapp hit my car. It's like, oh, it's okay, man. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You know what? I already know that there's no damage to my car because you're Bob Sapp. I was thinking to myself, how does he know that, man? He ain't even seen what the damage is, And then he comes over. He's like, man, Bob, man, that's okay. Everything's cool. Everything's cool. And and he looks and he's like, and I'm thinking, that's what I was trying to tell you, you know what I mean? Like, your car is fucking busted, dude. This ain't a scratch or a fender bender, man. You know what I mean? I don't even know if you can drive home, So he's like going, what the, okay. So I said, give me your number, and, you can call the police if you want for insurance or whatever, but just give me your number, and we're going to handle it, okay? Because I said if I wanted to, I could have already left. I think you already know that by now. He's like, yeah, we're not calling the police. Here's the number. We'll do the insurance stuff. We'll exchange it to whatever. So we go back. And now in the States, how the insurance works is that you get reimbursed the value of your car, which is garbage, because some cars sometimes can last for many, many years. You can have a cheap one, and it is reliable. And so his car was one of those cheap ones that was really reliable. He had like 150,000 miles on it, and he said he never had a problem with it whatsoever. Okay, but now he got a problem with it, obviously. You know what I'm saying? So he goes and he calls his insurance, and his insurance is like, all right, your car is this model and this age, and that'd be $700. And he's like, and obviously, you know, think about it. Where are you gonna go get a car that's reliable for $700? You know, so he calls me and he's like, Bob, man, you know, look, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you because you've been really cool, but you know, they're only giving me $700 is all you owe me. So, you know, I guess I'll just take the $700 and, you know, just go get a new car. I said, man, that's a rule that they got over there. But you know what? That's a rule. There's no law. So I said, so just come over here and we'll handle it. So he comes over here to the bank. And I said, listen, now here's what I want you to do. This $700 goes to your license plate off of your new car. I'm gonna get you your new car. So I just called my buddy who had a car dealership. Okay, so he gave me a discount on it, and it was, I think it was like for a $20,000 or $30,000 car, he gave it to me for like $5,000 or something like that. So I said, okay. So I wrote him. I said, now go down here. And he's gonna help you out or whatever. Just give him this. And I gave him one for $5,000. And then so he gets so excited in the bank. Okay, and he starts telling everybody the story. Oh, you know, boss Sapp, here's my car, and you know, it's $700. But then, you know, he starts doing this, and then he starts, which means this is starting to come out, right? And then he starts, and then, oh man, and then the other baker over there, she started crying, and then, you know, he started sobbing and stuff, and then he come over to me, you know, and wanted to give me a hug like this. I went like this. I said, okay, and you know what? It's gonna be real cool, you know, because I was like, dude, man, I was like, man, you guys act like somebody's mourning a death in here real quick, you know? So I had to hold him. Hey, it's all right, man, you know. I felt so bad for him, but I was like, I had to stop it, you know, before he gonna start doing, you know, everybody in the bank would start crying. Oh, but that's just a part of my life, you know. I expected, but so there are times definitely that it's hard. Yeah. And that's why I'm still single, but it's hard, you know. It's hard. So I've got to tell them, you know, when I first meet a girl, I break it down. I give them at least 5 basics of how hard and see how they will respond to it.
So what are the basics?
So one of the things is like, well, I'll tell them, you know, you have to exercise patience. Are you okay with patience? And they all say yes until they actually get involved in a situation like that. And so when I tell them, I say, patience, really? I said, yeah. I said, so you're okay if we go out to dinner and you want to talk to me about something that you're going to be interrupted every 5 minutes? Are you okay with that? Huh? Okay, are you okay with we will go out to dinner, but we're going to be eating in a private area the whole time, and there's not going to be any interaction. There may be one waiter there sitting at the door. Are you okay with that? Really? Well, man, that don't really sound like that fun of a life. And I'm like, it may not sound like it's that fun of a life, but this is my life. And that sounds too hard for me. I said, listen, you know what? I see people in orphanages, and I see people all the time walk around with different physically challenged individuals. And that's far from me. So this just happens to be in my life. So if you can handle it, it's okay. But, you know, like I said, I'm still single without kids. It's really difficult to do that. Now, I could get married and meet somebody if I went down to LA and picked up a celebrity. That would be a little easier. Except I just have no interest in that because I've been involved with that business for so long that's far from my persona, you know. Like, I'd rather play with my dogs, stay and read and study and all that stuff. And most of them would rather go out and party and kick it to whatever, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that because, you know, they're still working and they just happen to, that's fine. That's just far from what I want.
Would you change anything in your life and career?
I think, yes, if starting back at the beginning, I would have been a little more upfront and stronger and a little more harsh with the rules, you know. It does get to be hard. That stuff does get to be hard. You know, so I recently did one movie that I did was called The Longest Yard. It took place maybe now it's about, that's over 10 years ago. It was in 2005, yeah? So The Longest Yard remake with Adam Sandler, Chris Rock. That's when it was.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was like May 27, 2005. So what's this, 5 years from then? Yeah, that's what, more than 8 years ago. And I would really have been much stronger and tougher, you know, because at that time, I started getting a little more frustrated with it, you know. Being famous or being a celebrity, it really started to get hard because I played the big, cute guy, you know, the big teddy bear, they call it. So everyone's like, man, you know, you're so great. Even Nickelodeon, I won an award for that, or was up for an award for that anyway, for being, you know, the most likable character in that movie. And it was pretty difficult, you know, because girls would come up to me and they'd give you, oh, let me just give you a hug. Oh my God, you're like a big teddy bear. You know, and then everybody would start saying that. All the women would start saying that. And then finally I got a little bit upset, but I had to learn how to articulate my getting upset, and I say, look, teddy bear is missing certain appendages that I have. You know, I was just freaking so you know what I about had it, you know what I mean? I had about had it, you know, and I'm really blessed because, see, that's another thing. Every person you meet is going to say this line to you. I know it must be really hard because so, you know, I like you for you and I don't like you like everybody else likes you. So I bet you have no real friends. But you know, I'm not that kind of person. I'm like a real friend. Dude, everybody tells me that junk. And I tell them, you're wrong. I have good friends, okay? I have really great friends, okay? So you're wrong. You're watching too much TV, you know? Because like when I did that, when I snapped like that, you know, my friend goes like this. He's like, and we're driving, I'm like, yeah, man, so let's just go to the freaking movies. He's like, so we're driving, you know, and we're in there with his girlfriend, and, you know, it's three of us. We're going down to the movies, and she says, and they whisper, you know, and they go, and I'm like, yeah, let's go to the movies. And they go like, no, we're not going to the movies. They go like, this. I'm like, dude, this looks like, why are we turning around? And he's like, you're gonna go home and you're gonna relax. Because you're losing it, you know. And we'll rent a movie or just watch it here. We'll drop you off. You know, you're gonna just relax to whatever, and we'll just see you tomorrow. It's no big deal. But Bob, you know, you're snapping on people, and you know, and that's dangerous. So you know, nope. You're gonna go. I'm like, dude. So what? Am I going back in the Cracker Jack box or what? You know, you know, like, just go play with the dogs and stuff like that. You know, we're gonna figure something else out. You know, because that was like when I got up to like the 8th person telling me that, man, I was just, I mean, you know, I'm like, dang, man, you know, I mean, you know, I'm far from gay, guys. You know, I mean, damn. You know, and right, you know, I was so, and I had to articulate that so quickly, and I was just like, nah, man, and it was again, oh, you're like just a big teddy bear. Hold it. You know, teddy bear is missing certain appendages I've had. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Like this. And they was like, time for him to go home. Okay, Bob, you're gonna go right back home. So yeah, so it's cool, you know. Yeah, you know, and we're still friends. There was nothing that they were doing hateful. It's not like they still called me that night. We're still great friends now, you know. So I do have great friends, you know. So this idea of every Hollywood star has no great friends and everybody's using them for something—that's a myth, man. You got some good friends, and you're not supposed to have a million of them anyway. So yeah, I have the friends I can count on one hand, like everybody's got friends that they can count on one hand. That's it, you know. But in these guys' minds, they do that silly stuff, you know. Or, oh, I hope you're saving your money because, you know, you're going to be broke tomorrow. You know, all those stars are broke, you know. I get that a lot, you know. until I tell them, you know, I don't believe in loans, I don't believe in credit cards. So I just have I have just my house and my truck, and I have my card. I don't have a gym. I don't have multiple houses. That's it. Matter of fact, here's something many people know. All of this stuff, I get at secondhand store. Yeah, I know out there, you know, because I call that paying full price. And they tell you, FOOL, you know? And, you know, I'm like, dude, you know, you guys go to the restaurant, it ain't like you're asking them for a brand new fork and plate, right? That's all secondhand stuff. So I go to a secondhand store, and I have no problem.
Me too, sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody asks you, right? Like, it's not like they go, oh, you don't got that at the freaking full price store. No, secondhand store.
So what's the secret to your success?
I think the secret to my success is, I have the ability to be like water.
So the Bruce Lee concept.
Yes, I just move, float around through everything. So what that means, when I go to these countries, how's this? I went to Korea, and in Korea, the restaurant, very beautiful women come up. They have this little like barbecue spicy dish, and live shrimp crawling across, big tiger prawns, live one, crawl across the table. And the girl goes, okay, and she grab it, rip the head off, peel it right there, dip it into the sauce, and feed it to you. And I'm like, cool, and I eat it, no problem. I'll go to some places in Korea, they will serve they'll serve like cicadas, which are another insect. Then they will serve some caterpillars. Then they will serve some fried grasshoppers and bees and scorpions and all that stuff. Man, I'll mix it on up, eat it right on down there too, no problem. Some countries have raw horse meat. Ooh, I love it. That's one of my best dishes. But 2 months ago, I had raw pony.
Raw pony. And?
Good.
Yeah.
Very good. Very, very. And it was cold too, so it was really nice. Like a medium rare steak, just cold. Awesome. So yeah, I eat pony and stuff. I've eaten dog before. I've eaten cat. I've eaten rat. All of that stuff. Psychologically, I would be unable to do it if I saw it. You know what I mean? And saw it slaughtered, and pick some of these restaurants that you pick it. You know. And it's pretty crazy because they're like, which dog would you want? Come here. And the dog come on. Okay, sit. This one? No. Okay, get out of here. Okay, come here. Which one do you want? This one? You know, and okay, I'll pick that one. They do like that, you know? Psychologically, no, I'm unable to handle that, okay? I know my limit, and that I'm unable to handle that because whether it's the way I'm raised or whether I love animals to whatever, but it's probably more from television and all of that stuff. But I'd have a problem if there was a cow, you know, and I met the cow and then all of a sudden, you know, they slaughter it. So if I have no idea of it and it's already prepared, then I can do it. But if it's something that you got to pick or something, I don't do that, you know. The only exception that I can do that on is seafood. You know, like I can get like a lobster, they'll say which lobster you want, I can say like this one. I do that, you know, or a shrimp. I have done that and I do that. But, you know, as far as like chickens and fowl or dog, cat, and whatever, no, I'm just unable to do it. However, it was prepared. It's in the meat or in this, you know, like dog comes in like a fried burrito sometimes. So yeah, I can eat it then. You know, as long as it's not no spicy, I dip it in the plum sauce or whatever. I can do that.
So what about human burrito?
Oh no, yeah, I don't think so. But you know, I've been asked, man, that's a great question. No, thank you. You know, but you know, I do say, you know, this is on the internet one, right? This video? Or no, it's on Fight Channel. This Fight Channel. So, well, so then you just cut it if you got to cut this or whatever. But you know, I say, you know, I eat human, but it's a different form. different way of eating it. You know what I mean?
I know exactly.
Yeah, so that's about as far as it's going on that. You know what I mean? But you know, but there's, yeah, I can don't do that. But I have been asked that, you know, because some cultures and they do that stuff, I guess, you know. So I have been asked that, but I just, psychologically, I don't think I'm able to do that. You know, even, you know, yeah, psychologically, I'm unable to do that. I was watching this one show called like I Survived it's probably fake and they just say that it's real. But anyway, this guy supposedly got lost in the jungle and he met a dog, you know, and he said he just got so hungry that, you know, through basically, I mean, I just get so ridiculously mad at this story because this guy's got to be one of the biggest idiots, or his brain obviously was starving so much that there was no working. So there's a dog, he befriended a dog in the jungle, and this dude, he was hungry, and after 2 weeks, he killed the dog to eat it to live. What a dummy, man. I was like, dude, is this guy dumb or what? I mean, he should have kept it alive, right? Because that dog could have caught a rat and then split it back and forth. That's how we domesticated them. Why are you gonna, I mean, can you chase a damn rat dead fast and get it? And do you know where the water is and all that? So I'm like, this dude just kills off his own food source? You know? It's like, idiot.
He was looking for a quick solution.
Yeah, he was. And I was like, and he's like, yeah, he ate the dog. And I was like, dude, who eats the dog that could find the water and the food? I mean, what an idiot is that? You know, I told my friends, I'm like, you know, man, I hope you guys know that's stupid. You know, y'all found, I mean, he was like, yeah, I hope we know that's stupid too. I said, I hope you better know that. You know, I mean, for real. I pretty much already know because, like, my dogs would be outside, you know, and sometimes, like, so I'll like, you know, when I have like, you know, you ever have a potato kind of grow rotten and it has like these buds and stuff like at the bottom of the bag. So I just take them, I'll just chuck them outside of my backyard, you know, so when they'll throw it away, I just like chuck it. So one of them started growing between my trees, and my dog dug it up and he brought it back in there and he brought the potato, and I was like, oh, that's. And I looked, I was like, oh, hey, that's a good one right there, man. Shit, I'm better put this in there. We about to have baked potato right now, man. So I was like, cool. You know, and just from that story alone, I was thinking, that dude's an idiot, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, dude, who eats their food source? Who eats their food supplier?
Yeah.
He killed it, man. Forget it. Forget it, dude. You know, like what? What idiot? You know, and the dog even knows where water's at, right? I mean, it's like,
helpful.
Right. Yep. You're cold. You can hug him and all this stuff. This motherfucker done killed him. What's wrong with you, man? I was like, shit, I hope he die. I'm watching.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I'm like watching the TV. I'm like, dude, I hope this motherfucker die. I've been no cuss. I hope the dude die. Oh, shoot.
So let's talk about fighting.
Yes.
When you began, can you just real quick, how did you get into the fight business?
Okay, I got in the fight business I went to the NFL, got Achilles tendonitis. Then I received Achilles tendonitis in the NFL, went to WCW, Ted Turner's organization. That went bankrupt. I was invited to fight William the Refrigerator Perry, which was my idol all the way growing up. I beat him, so I was discovered on Fox Tough Man Contest. There's another gentleman that was discovered on there as well. His name is Butterbean. He's a boxer. We both did the same show, and we both had success. And Butterbean went on to do boxing, and he also did some little MMA fighting and stuff over in Japan and around the world. And so they saw me on that show. When I did that show, they said, hey, listen, you're a star. You just have no idea who or why or what you're doing. We have all your statistics on you, and we will see you tomorrow in Las Vegas. A limousine will pick you up. I was like, Whatever, y'all, man. Y'all playing these tired-ass games, man. I don't be in the mood for this little silly stuff, man. I said, listen, man, for real, guys. I just lost my job. You know, WCW went down, and, you know, you calling me, man. That's like kicking me when I'm down, man. And, you know, and I'm laughing at it at the same time. I'm like, come on, guys. You're always making some, make a serious, something that's serious. You always throw a joke in there when it's with your friends, you know, because they're no saying nothing that's going to hurt you, right? You know, they're just, so... It's like, whatever, all right, good night. Next day, me. I look out. What? Oh my gosh, the limousine. I got dressed, I went down there, and they happened to be K1. They were from Japan. And I went and ate in the Bellagio Hotel restaurant. And they ordered, this is so crazy. I've never seen this before happen in my life, which is why this always stands still in my brain. The individuals from K1 ordered this many. They said, what did you want, what did you want? And there was like 25 of them or 20 of them around the table. And they said, well, okay, let's see what the menu, what you want. They were like, this is. They said, okay, well, we'll take 5 menus. He said, what? We'll take 5 menus. The guy's like, what's that mean? He's like, everything on the menu we will take, but just do it 5 times on everything. And you know what the server said? No. And then you should have seen this guy, man, from K1. He went, excuse me? He said, no, I cannot do that. And they're like, well, why is that? He's like, I mean, come on, dude. I mean, come on, that's too much food. I was like, what the fuck? Dude, I've never heard this before in my life. You know, you heard that? What the heck? What? Are you kidding me? And he's like, I mean, that guy, but he was so cool. That guy was so cool. He's like, all right, tell you what. Can you come bring your manager here for me, please? He's like, sure. So he comes in there. Manager comes in with the guy. He's like, okay, sir, what seems to be the problem? He's like, I'd like to order some food. This guy's taking my order. And then the guy is so stupid. He tells his manager the same thing. No, it's no that. He said, they ordered 5 things off of the menu and everything like this, and I told him, I'm telling him that's too much food. And the manager's like, I'm sorry, sir, I'll get you another server. So I don't know if he could have fired him or whatever, okay, so I don't know. But he's like, I'm sorry, so I'll just get you another server. But I was thinking in my mind, I bet you that manager was like, what a dummy you are, man. You know what I'm saying? These people try to order 5 things on the menu. But I know if you think what he was doing on his side, that he was, from his point of view, he was, thinking maybe they could run off on the bill or whatever, So we ended up ordering the food. They asked me what I want to drink. I said Shirley Temple. The Shirley Temple came, and I drank out of and I had they put the straw, in the drink, right? And so I had my straw just like this. I thought this is normal. I thought everybody drinks like this. So apparently no, but you don't want to be, when there's a lot of food on the table, far from your advantage for picking the glass up all the time and doing this and putting it down, because there's so much stuff around there, chances are it's going to spill. You know what I mean? When you're wanting to put plate, because there's a lot of food on the table. So I just left it there, and I went like this, just drinking it, and he goes, and the Japanese lady, she goes, so, which means yes, so, kawaii, oh, so. So she said, this is incredible, that's him. It's him, it's really him, that's him, And they pull out the folder and they're like, yep. And they do the same stats. They got me all the way from high school, all the way down, and they're like, yep, that's him. He got all these records in college, he got all of this. This is him, this is this guy right here, and these Americans got no idea how strong he is or whatever. Now that's not what they said, that's what the letter told me that they were talking about, because I could not understand Japanese, but they did have a folder and everything on me, okay? So they did say that, and they're like, that's him. And they're like, great job. They go, okay, so we'd like you to come to Japan and see if you enjoy it. They never told me I was going to be doing fighting, by the way. This is more like pro wrestling, you know, just a little harder. Okay, that's what they told me. So I was like, okay, so, yeah, like it's just a little harder. So I was like, all right, you know. So I did that. But at the end, they gave me like $5,000 cash. I said, now, who goes eats at a big restaurant in limousine and all of a sudden gets $5,000 cash with a bunch of strangers? You know, me. They gave me the $5,000 cash. The problem is, well, remember, I mean, you know, you're on the same level as me because we go to the secondhand store and stuff. So obviously our wallets ain't that fancy either, okay? You know what I mean? So I have a Velcro wallet, which is what I thought everybody has. So I was like, you know the Velcro wallet, right? That has Velcro. Yeah. I mean, I think that's what everybody got. Them things is cool. So I put the money in the Velcro wallet, and the freaking thing could no close. So I had to take the wallet, I put it underneath the chair, and I sat on it, and I started jumping on the chair to make the wallet close. And I forced the wallet to be closed, and I ended up taking the cash, obviously, and the rest is history. What kind of history are we talking about? We're talking about in 8 months, making a company over $300 million, making the cover of Time magazine, and breaking the world record for the most highly televised fight in history with over 53 million people watched. So that's over 80% share. And now that record, chances that that's ever going to be broke, which it will be broke sometime because the world's continuous, but chances that it's going to be broke within my lifetime or your lifetime, I'm going to tell you that's pretty much zero. Because they have all these MMA organizations and kickboxing organizations right now that have split everything up, right? Yeah. This is when there's very few. So, I mean, 53 million people, over 53 million people watch in comparison. So that you have a comparison to what I'm talking about, 2010 American Idol finale, which American Idol is pretty big, right? Their finale, 25 million.
Only cup.
Of mine.
Yeah.
Wow. Incredible, right? So, I mean, so I'm like, yeah, and I was like, dude, so now I've got like no idea even what I will do.
I gotta ask you, because we're in Croatia, we have to mention Crow Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, so going into that fight, you knew he was a badass.
Yeah.
But you also had some wins over Ernesto Hoost.
Mm-hmm.
So mentally, how did you feel? Did you feel like you can win that fight, or?
I thought, my mentality at that point was I started getting a little more scared towards what was happening, you know. I mean, I was in Japan and I was on every TV channel Monday Wednesdays and Fridays from 8 o'clock till 10. I was on every single TV channel doing something for those golden time hours, you know. It was really nice. I had a lot of Hollywood celebrities. They would call me, they would check on me. They would say, listen, you're gonna go through some depression on this. You're gonna wanna vomit because you're gonna hear your name a lot. We're always gonna be here for you, or no matter what. If you feel like you're gonna have a stroke or you feel like this is too much for you, call us, you'll be okay. But just go through this. You're definitely gonna hate your name very, very soon, and you're really gonna want, and that's true, you're gonna wanna really vomit. So you can do this, you can get through it, but just take it step by step, and don't watch any of your stuff except for learning from it, but don't listen to the internet, no watch it, because that's a totally different world out there than what you're doing, okay? They're gonna say that's no good for your image. Same thing that these people just told me, these friends that I just befriended that now they decided to cut me out of their friendship. They said because of your image, that could hurt your image. They say that, but an image, from our point of view, our celebrity's image, just like we are the celebrity, we determine what a groupie is. We do. Know you, know the person out there. They no kid to determine, they can don't say they're no groupie. That's a name that a celebrity puts on someone. A person that's no celebrity can no say, I'm no groupie. That's no how it works, okay? A celebrity gets to label that to somebody, you know? And the same thing with image. What we do with our image is where we make, or we put it to where we make money. It's far from you deciding what a image is or what my image should be, and therefore you tell me it's a bad image, okay? Because it's not gonna work. Let's take it 10 years ago, okay, because now laws have changed. But 10 years ago, if Snoop Dogg is talking about marijuana, you would say that's a bad image for him at schools and stuff. Like I said, now it's a little different because he's on Sesame Street and doing all this other kind of stuff. But at that time, they would say that that was a bad image, right? That, oh, that's gonna ruin your image. If you, think about it, if you met me back in those days, I said, oh, I wanna be a rapper, and I started talking about drugs, which at the time was marijuana. Oh, it's gonna ruin your image, it's gonna ruin your image, it's gonna ruin your image. Well, now it's legal, so one, you done missed out on it. Second, that dude's been saying that stuff for that time, and even when it ruined his image, it never ruined his image. So it's just what you do with that vision of, or the perception of image. It's what you do with it, you know?